Welcome back, Breezy, to Low Power Mode Season 1 Finale. Finale. Welcome back. Here we go.
I got an excess of black bile, high irascibility, contemplating checking myself into facility, mental ability clearly affected, deep in the dumps, down and dejected.
I've been in low power mode, in low power mode, been in low power mode all year. Think it's time to switch it up to high gear. I've been in low. I've been in low power mode all year. Think it's time to switch it up to high gear.
All right. So, for Season 1 finale of Low Power Mode, we're going to talk about musically. We're going to talk about the one, the only SZA. It has been I feel like SZA's release of her latest work has been heavy laden, so we're going to talk about it. Here we go. Music. Okay, so SZA, I will always have such a special place in my heart for SZA. Not in this order, but number one, because she was on my favorite, the label of artists that really heavily inspired me in the LA area in 2012 era. She came from that little family, and they found her randomly off the street or whatever, and she just turned out to be this amazing artist. She deals with anxiety. She deals with some really real ass shit, mental health stuff that I feel like I can relate to. And she just stays in her lane, not stays in her lane in a bad way. Her music is very quintessentially her. And I think that's special. I think that's great. She doesn't try to be anyone who she's not. So her latest album, SOS, which she mentioned stood for several things like Save Our Souls, but also SOS, her first name is Solana, I think, so her friends call her SOS. There's a few different meanings behind the album title. The album was released in December, a few weeks ago now, and the album was released after a 5-year period of SZA not releasing any music. And we so rarely see that among millennial or Gen Z. I don't know exactly which one she is, but we so rarely see people, young people in hip hop and R&B take time. It's so easy to get caught up in the buzz and everything and just follow the path. But SZA is very spiritual, you can tell, and she makes room and makes space for her emotions and for healing. And so it's really interesting that the energy with which she's giving us this album. And I listened to this interview and I put it in the show notes with a great interviewer named Nessa, who had so much love for SZA, and it was great. SZA was in her bed the whole time. But the energy is tough. If you're a sensitive soul, you can very easily feel the heaviness around her right now. But there's also, it's multitudes, there's also joy for releasing this album, for it being out there and getting love. There's also the flip side of that, getting hate, getting lesser expectations. She's just been such a popular artist, and her very first album was a massive hit. So it's just got to be hard, that follow-up pressure. But I have really enjoyed her album. It's 23 tracks. She even says in the interview, she's like, yeah, I probably could have done fewer. The interviewer's like, no, no, it's great. We love it. Something weird there just happened with my mic, but no mind. Yeah, so this album, it has a lot of tracks. And so I felt like during certain parts of the album, I was like really with it, loving it. Like there'd be a few tracks in a row where I was like, yes, 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 yes. This is dope. This is very SZA. This is very, whatever. And then it would kind of like drift into a different, like ethereal kind of space. And then it would come back to me. And then I'd be like, yes, oh, I love these tracks. So it felt kind of like her cover artwork, which is her on a diving board over an ocean, like a deep, dark blue ocean. And it's just her like out there. And it's like really, there's solitude and, SOS. I think of SOS as like a message that people would send from a ship or whatever. And apparently, her cover artwork came from a photo of Princess Diana, who 1 week before her death was on a yacht or something, and there was this diving board coming off the yacht, and they got a picture of her, and SZA said she looks so like so kind of sad and alone, and so that's where SZA's at, and you can feel it. You can definitely feel it through the music, through the artwork, through the interview. Like it's heavy. It's kind of like Little Sims's latest release. The album's called No Thank You, and it's very much about like being tired, um, um, weathered from the industry, and uh, you know, I've only been doing it professionally for a little over 4 years now, but it is extremely tiring. Like, I think whether you're doing it on a major label and you have this, that, and the other lined up for you, and you have like a really busy schedule, or you're doing it on your own and you're making everything happen for yourself and all of the work that goes in, it's like, it's a lot. And then you work super, super hard, put out your shit, and then people may judge you for it or have negative reactions. So on top of being a black like woman, I think there's a lot on SZA's shoulders, and it seems she's been like joking about getting a flip phone soon, and like how she wants her messages in green to be coming in green instead of blue, um and how she wants to like just live on a farm. And I'm like, yes, that is how I feel. And it's in the interviewer was kind of like, well, a lot of people take breaks. I mean, do you take breaks during your thing? And it's like, yeah, you can take breaks, but if you're really in this music shit, it's always on your mind. It's always a part of life. Like, you may be trying to take a day off, but you end up having to do this, that, and the other thing just to push the ball forward. So it's some real shit just on the level that I've experienced, which is, nothing close to what SZA, you know, her situation. But there's also, there's like a little video she put out that's like SOS, where have you been, or something like that. I can put it in the show notes. And and it's kind of like clips of her back in 20, when was her album out? Like 16, 17. And then um and then it jumped to like, kind of this album cycle period. And there's buzz, and there's good things happening, and like there's the clips in the studio, and features coming through, and all this stuff. And then there's like this video of her being really frustrated after being told that her album was going to get pushed back once again, I guess, and they wanted to release it in 2023. So I think she's also just relieved that it's out now, because all of that momentum. I mean, again, once again, I am scratch the surface on this stuff. I understand like promo plans and that sort of stuff, but not on the level of, major label. And she is like, I don't know. She's talking about like marketing and like packages and deluxe album and all this stuff, and it's like, oh God, I, I it just gets to be so far from the music itself. So yeah, I'm definitely going to purchase SOS when I have the money. Um, it's a great album, and I want to support her. It does feel a little, I don't know, a lot. I don't know. It feels like she's like, let me just give you all of this so I can go. And she has a song which, so it the lyrics are, I think the song's called Now That I've Ruined Everything, but one of the lyrics is, now that I've ruined everything, space is all I need. And yeah, I really relate to that. It's like, for me, I've been doing this trauma healing, and when I when I take time to do that, oh, there's my sound clip. Oops. When I take time to do that, when I take time and space from everyone else, it has felt it has felt selfish, and it's felt like challenging, but it's also so necessary. And so I think SZA kind of got to this point where she was like, okay, let me just get through this next album and then be free and do whatever. She said on the interview, like, yeah, I'm pretty much, after all this, like, I'm out of here. And it's like, damn, it's beautiful. It's honestly amazing. Like, I wish nothing more for artists than for them to take care of themselves, because they're so special, and it's so hard to do the work. And so yeah, I can say, for favorite songs, excuse me, once again having technical difficulties. Of course, this would happen on the season one finale. Oh, so funny. Anyway, favorite songs off of SOS are. Let me pull it up. 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 Okay. Oh, I really like Low. She kind of like raps in it, and it's really like, it's very hip hop. Love Language, the strings in the end are so beautiful. I really like Love Language. I love Blind. Blind has grown on me. Um, yeah, it's very like, I think a lot of this album is very stripped down, and that feels good. Um, okay, what else? What else? What else? Um, I mean, Gone Girl, I really like. Smoking on My X Pack, I really like the beat. Um, F2F is so. I love that she did F to F. F to F is like, it's, you could replace Avril Lavigne with SZA, and it would be, you wouldn't blink twice. Like, it's a very youthful punk rock vibe to the song, and I would definitely have heard that, like, driving in the car. um when did they do the top 100 countdown? They would, every week they would have the top 100 countdown, and I remember Avril Lavigne was always up there. And so I would have heard this driving around the car in Rhode Island, like, growing up. Like, it's very rock, punk rock, which is so great. I love when artists are like, I'm going to do something super different. And so I really reward her for that. Um, Nobody Gets Me is really good. I like Far. I like Shirt. When I first saw Shirt, the music video with Lakeith Stanfield, it's like very trippy, but I liked it, and but the song has really grown on me. And I Hate You is really good. Yeah, the album is like waves. It's like sometimes it's calm waters and it feels like I don't know, ambient almost, and then the waves will crash, the beat will drop. It'll be more exciting, more action. So overall, I really love the album. I'm really happy for SZA that she is so real, and like so real about being needing to like showing anger and frustration, but not in that like angry black woman way, but like this like, I don't like this. I don't like it here and I'm leaving. And that's the vibe and I love that. So, go SZA, rooting for you, and let's move on to TV. Television. All right, TV, probably one of my favorite sections. Okay, so for TV, I kind of was like on a certain track, and then I started watching holiday things, which led me to this other thing. So I'm going to talk about two series, series, serieses, series, serieses, two TV series. So the first one is The Best Man, the final chapters. And, you have to go through some other things to get to the final chapters. So let's just say a lot of my time has been dedicated to getting through the whole franchise. So essentially, there was a movie in, I want to say 1994, 1999. Which one? Oh, I need to Google it. But the first one was called The Best Man. And it's a film by Malcolm D. Lee, who is Spike Lee's cousin or brother? No, I think cousin. So there's some very clear, not parallels, but like lines you can draw from this series or franchise to like the work of Spike Lee, even though it's very, very different. Okay, so The Best Man was in 1999. And this felt like sometimes when you have a stacked cast, the movie doesn't do so well. I don't know what that effect is, but I've seen it happen a lot before. Maybe it's more for like super, like blockbuster holiday kind of movies. But yeah, this movie's great. Okay, so it's got Taye Diggs, it's got Morris Chestnut, it's got Harold Perrineau, it's got Terrence Howard, it's got Sanaa Lathan, it's got Nia Long, it's got Regina Hall. It's like the cast is so stacked of black excellence. And so anyway, the first film was back in 1999, so closer to the beginning of all these actors, these like at this point incredible storied achievement making actors. But back then they were more fresh. Then there was a sequel to The Best Man film in 1999 that was called The Best Man Holiday. And that's how I got to the Best Man franchise, because It was on somebody's list of like top holiday films. And so that's where I started. I started watching The Best Man Holiday, and I was like, damn, this movie is not what I expected. I expected something a little more. I don't want to. I don't want to say Tyler Perry, but something a little bit more jacked up. And what I got was something really deep and layered and you know, sometimes the exploration of, you know, cisgender black manhood can feel uh can feel just kind of broy. And this felt very much like, okay, you can really tap in. You can really understand what's going through everyone's head. And you can also see how the group, even though the group dynamic is a little fucked up, like you can see how they need each other and how they support each other and love each other. And I think that's really important to see because we see so many, you know, we have so many movies with black cisgender men like fighting each other, killing each other, yada yada. So I really appreciate this movie that is really focused. It has a lot of great storylines for the femmes as well, but I felt like, wow, what a great display of, I don't know, black manhood. And it also goes through, so the Best Man Holiday was 2013. So what does that make? 14 years after the original. And then the Best Man Final Chapters, which came out this year, which 22 minus 9 years later. So it's, let's see, what's 22 to 99? That's 22, 23, 24. That's like 24 years span of these actors playing out the same story, the same roles. And you got movie, and then series. And so I was really blown away. I loved the series so much. Like by the point, because after Best Man Holiday, I watched The Best Man, and then I was super jacked up for the Best Man Holiday, and it was really good. And the reason why I'm talking about it on the podcast, because I watch a lot of content and stuff where I'm like, I could talk about it on the podcast, but I really try to make as often as I can an intersection between queer and black or person of color. And so there's this storyline in the series where one of the characters, you know, one character is Harper, the writer, and then you've got Murch, the teacher, and then you've got what's his name, Quentin, the like coming from a rich family or like taking over his dad's business kind of thing. And then you've got and then you've got Lance, who is he was an NFL football player, really really successful career, and retired and trying to figure out what's next for him. And so Lance's storyline, and this is like a big plot point of the Best Man Holiday, is that I don't want to spoil it, but I'm going to. So the Best Man Holiday, so his wife Mia, she ends up having cancer, and she ends up transitioning. And so it's yeah, it's really real, but it's also like funny. It's like you can definitely tell that Spike Lee's influence and stuff with that mixture of like going really deep but also keeping it light at the same time. Okay, so Lance has a son. Lance has a who he sees as a son, but who is really a non-binary person. And and LJ is their name, and LJ is really good at football, just like their father. And uh, Lance really wants LJ to follow in his footsteps. And so there's this one point where in the series where LJ starts working for Jordan, who's also one of the main characters. She went to the school where they all met, and she has a big job at a television network. And so he starts interning for her, and he always wears his school uniform to work. And so at some point, she says, you don't have to wear your school uniform. And then the camera like focuses on him, and he just like slowly smile or them, and they slowly break into a smile. And then later on, it's cool. It's funny because it has you wondering, is LJ gonna hit on Jordan? Like, is there gonna be some sort of weird thing there? No. LJ, there's this scene where LJ just like slowly walks in. They're playing some badass song. LJ looks amazing. Makeup, eyeliner, lashes, lipstick, this beautiful coat that is very elegant and non binary. Not too femme, not too mask. These amazing shoes. I don't even know. They probably cost like thousands and thousands. Um, so so Jordan immediately sees LJ for who they are and is like, okay. They fully came out to Jordan as non-binary, and Jordan was, concerned about LJ telling their father. And so it leads to this whole phone conversation where who finds out? Someone finds, I think it's Quentin's character, and he calls up Jordan and he's like, what the hell is non-bindering? And oh yeah, because Quentin walks in on LJ when they're like playing with hair and makeup and clothes and whatever. His Also Quentin's daughter is friends with LJ. So they have this really cute, funny, awesome conversation about what it means to be non-binary, but it's not really like coming across. It's kind of coming across, and some people are like, yeah, whatever LJ identifies as, like, I just hope Lance can find a way to love them or whatever. And yeah, like some people were up on the pronouns, some people were not up on the pronouns. It was just hilarious. It was really great to see this conversation among a group of older Black folk. Like, what do Black folk in their 50s think about gender fluidity and the spectrum? And so it was really well done. I was like, wow, kudos. I watched the scene several times. I was like, this is great. So that is that one. That is The Best Man, the final chapters, which helps if you watch The Best Man and then The Best Man Holiday first, but stands on its own as well. And then the other series I wanted to mention was this series called Sort of, which I at first hated the name, still kind of hate the name, but this is an amazing story about a non-binary Pakistani Canadian character named Sabi who has to deal with a lot of different things. And the first season, there was this, I don't know, there was this ambivalence about Sabi's character and about the show. Like, I wanted to love, I want to love anything that focuses on like a non-binary character as the lead. And at first, in the first season, admittedly, I didn't love it. And I was like, that sucks. Like, I really want to love it. But there were a lot of great things. My goodness, you'll have to excuse me. It did it again, this microphone thing. So I'm going to try to go through this really quickly, get it in and get out. So Sort of. So yeah, there were a lot of things that I appreciated about the first season, but the second season was amazing. The second season really brought it home for me. So I want to tell you a little bit about it before my whole system combusts. I always wonder, is it me? I've unplugged everything, replugged everything, tested everything. It's like, what is going on? Is there something in the universe? Is it like you shouldn't be doing this right now? I never know. Okay, so um the the premise of sort of is Sabi is this um nanny for this family, and they the family is really close with Sabi, and Sabi is especially close with the mother of the family, and her name's Penny. And Penny is out biking, really like active, out biking one day, and then has an accident, and like slips into a coma, I believe. So Sabi all of a sudden takes on a different role in the family, and it's really it's really well done in the way that they in the first even in the first season, the way they explore the relationships between Sabi and the kids, and Sabi and the husband Paul. And it's really well done. Something I felt like is a little weird is that the father is supposed to play this therapist. He's supposed to be a therapist, but he has no like ability to see his own stuff. But we'll let it pass. But yeah, so then in the second season, Penny wakes up, and it's like there's a whole bunch of different things going on. Um One thing that I really liked in particular was, so there was someone else who Penny had been talking to, maybe in a sexual way, like we don't know, but Paul has Penny's phone when she's in a coma in the hospital, and someone is texting. And so at first he texts back pretending to be her, but then he finally stops. And so this person who Penny has a relationship ends up being a woman. And in the second season, there's a point at which Penny has come home from the hospital, and she's slowly regaining strength and coming back to normal life. And so she has a conversation with this past lover, and the son, Henry, he slips downstairs, for some reason, and then sees this conversation happening. So then it becomes a thing where Penny talks about it with Paul, and then they have to talk about it with Henry. They see that Henry's there, and so there's this really great conversation that Penny has with Henry, who's like, Henry asks like, "Are you what does he say?" He says, "Are you a lesbian?" or something like that, or "Are you queer?" And she has this really great response, and she says like, queer is expansive, and like just explains queer in such a beautiful way. And I always think about not only people who identify as queer, but also just like young people who don't identify as queer, who see this definition, this example, this demonstration, this representation, and are like, okay, I understand, I get it. And so it's really, I don't know, it's amazing. Like, I can't think of another non binary Pakistani or person of color lead of a TV show. It's historic. And Bilal Baig, they also have done everything from write a play that the show is loosely based on, or there's some similarities, and then wrote the screenplay, and then got this TV show made. But in the interview that I read about Bilal Baig, they're like, I don't even know if I should play the main character. I don't want any type of fame or anything like that. They're super just down to earth and almost seemingly apathetic about things, but um really just very unshaken, and that comes through in the character for sure. And sometimes Subby's lack of strong emotion is like we're left wanting. We're like, come on, like do this, do that, make that decision. But it's great because it explores that place of not being able to do that, not knowing exactly who you are to your friends, to your family, to yourself, and not being able to assert yourself because you don't have that sense of identity. There's also some like light relationship stuff being explored. Um, Subby meets another trans person named Olympia who they fall in love with, but Olympia's very like flaky. And then Sabi finally kind of tells her that, but in a bad moment. And then, is left alone. And, there's the classic like the texts having been sent and no response. And I don't know. I feel like it's really it touches on some nuances of life in 2022. And I like that it's in Canada. I like to see more of Canada and who lives there and what the culture is. And there's this great side story with this place called Bar Book, and it's like a bar slash bookstore and a hub for queer folk. And yeah, it's really well done. And there's the owner of the bar, blanking, blanking on the name of the character. But that character has a son named Wolf, and Wolf is around Subby's age. And there's some conversations. There's like Wolf ends up picking Subby up from work, and then Subby's mother is in a situation where Subby needs to go pick up their mother. So Wolf gives them a ride and picks up the mom, and then they stop and get something to eat. And their conversation with the mother is so nice and so real and so like I don't know. It just shows this. It's not like queer people can only hang out with other queer people and have deep conversations about it. It's like no, and they have a really great connection. And Wolf talks about the struggling with his father, and how it's been difficult for his father to it's been difficult for him, Wolf, to allow space for his father to change their dynamic. And it's such patient and intentional dialogue coming from a cisgender like man. And it's like, oh, it's so refreshing to see that sort of stuff. So I'm really pumped. I hope it continues for, a few more seasons and we get more of Subby and these characters. And just, I don't even care what the plot is. Just the way that Bilal Baig does it is so special. And I'm really rooting for them. Even if they are like, I don't want to act anymore. It's really good stuff. Good writing, and it definitely gets better in the second season. So highly recommend that. Gonna end this section here. Hey, listen, sometimes you gotta check in with yourself.
Check in with yourself.
All right, didn't know if I was gonna make it there. Definitely gotta check into these mic issues, but that's what a season finale provides, a break for which to look into troubleshooting and those things that happen along the way. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. This has been such an amazing process. It's been kind of cool to like have started in a really bad place mentally and emotionally and like be ending in a solid place and feeling like the healing work that I've been doing is working. It's a really special feeling, and some really promising things have happened. Like, for instance, I was able to apply and get invited to this union, like a union for stage work and entertainment. And so I'm super pumped because I'm going to get some training and hopefully some job opportunities. And so it's like, oh, this is such a blessing, and took a really long time and some really hard work and a lot of, a lot of rejection, a lot of space and time not doing things. So that's why the podcast really helped give me a sense of self-worth. And so, yeah, I thank you for that so much. And I hope everyone has a wonderful start to 2023. I am feeling more optimistic. I'm feeling like, yeah, we're emerging into a better place, a better place. We're gonna hopefully find some end to some wars. We're gonna try to solve some. No, I'm not trying to change the world anymore. I'm just trying to get by. So that's where I'm at. Super pumped. If you're in the area, if you're in the country, and also in California, in Northern California, gonna be performing my first US show ever. It's gonna be dope. We're calling it the Brown Panther Tour. Yeah, in 2 weeks, in Oakland, my favorite city, and I'm really excited. I'm a little, a little nervous, like a little like, how's this gonna go? But I'm so pumped. I'm really pumped. And me and Groovy have worked, in my mom, Joe, have worked really hard on putting all this together. So it's going to be really great. I'm super pumped about Queer POC. It's had an amazing release so far, a great response. I feel like the message is received, and it's really cool to have that out there and have done just something in 2022 because my other projects were in 2018, 19, 20, and 21. So got something in for 2022. And I'm shooting a music video. I'm shooting my first like official US music video. That's going to be fun. That's going to be for Queer POC, and that's going to be in like mid to late January. So things are happening finally. I'm feeling better finally. I know I don't have endometriosis. I know I need to continue to heal my gut. I'm working with an herbalist, and they're amazing. And I'm super grateful for ancestral and indigenous medicine and ways, and just, moving away from the pharmaceutical industry. It's big. It's a big deal. So I feel really grateful to be supported in that. I'm just at a really great, point of gratitude. So I wish you all the best. I'm so happy you tuned in for the season 1, and excited to see you whenever that will be. Until next time, Breezy out.
I've been in low power mode. In low power mode. Been in low power mode all year. Think it's time to switch it up to high gear. I've been in low. I've been in low power mode all year. Think it's time to switch it up to high gear.